Chapter 1. Merithia.
And so begins the official start to the season,
the announcer blared from the television. My whole family cheered, and I plastered a smile on my face that I hoped masked my rising depression. Every start to the season began on All Thanks Day, but my family, like so many Totter families in Totown, sneakily began putting up their decorations at the start of 11's month. Totters celebrated every holiday with 100% enthusiasm. Hearts Day was celebrated by acquiring the most complex and expensive chocolate carvings for everyone who was important in your life. If someone didn't receive one, then it meant they didn't matter to you. For your lovers, you had to acquire the best jewelry you could find or else be accused of unenthusiastic affection. On Masquerade Day, when we were supposed to honor the dead and the occult, extensive costume contests were held throughout Totown. Winners brought great honor to their families, and paltry costumes brought shame. Totown also celebrated the 4 solar holidays: Primavera, Ojo Orun, Aki, and Yalda, the first days of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, respectively. Totown held elaborate festivals where each family's offerings were stringently judged against some arbitrary measure of worthiness. All of the holidays could result in monetary rewards for being the most Totter of them all. All Thanks Day was a bit more private, being a family affair, but I'd bet you 5 solars that our family's dinner spread would be crowned as one of the top 3 most elaborate affairs in our neighborhood, Peepop Hollow. Just before we sat down to eat, my mother had been directing my sisters on their lighting angles and my youngest brother, Sam, son number 4, on where to focus his camera. Son number 3, Triton, took over camera duty once he finished his first plate. And the start of the season began the countdown to the holiday I had grown to fear, the one that spiked my anxiety the most. As if all of the gifts throughout the year to people weren't enough. As if the offerings to the deities on Yalda weren't enough. Just a few short days later, on Giftmas, we had to give more gifts that were likely going to be judged as subpar. And I had no choice but to participate. The All Thanks Day meal passed without a single member of my family noting my reticence. After dinner, I went for a walk. My best friend, Zuka, strolled alongside me, content to let me stew. They knew I struggled at this time of year especially, and waited for me to break the silence. We were walking the city streets despite the sharp cold that had already descended upon Totter Valley, which sat in the shadow of Anansi's peak. We were taught to be grateful for the mountain, because without it, our town would have been swept away in the winter winds long ago. Or so the stories say. I, for one, will be forever grateful to whomever invented warming ear cuffs. The stories also say that the mountain is named after an ancient god, but we don't learn about things like that in school. It just feels like there should be more to all of this, I mumbled, but Zuka heard me. They tore their attention away from the pretty lights the shops had already thrown up for Yalda, now that the start of the season had been announced. They'd already added more before Green 5 Day, when all the shops had opened early in the morning after All Thanks Day. It's called Green 5 Day because all of the money that flashes around. Our money isn't even green anymore, but it used to be. We learned a lot about money in school.
Is that a question?
They asked, a crooked smile already in place before I made eye contact. I sighed. No, maybe. Don't you feel like there should be more?
I have what I need with you. What we have, our secret, is enough for me.
They whispered, and then hummed contentedly. Our secret. For the last 3 years, in secret, Zuka and I had exchanged empty boxes in place of actual gifts. Because we'd remained such close friends, no one had questioned whether or not we'd given actual gifts. If we hadn't, we, of course, wouldn't have remained friends, would we? Gift-giving and gift-receiving was the penultimate way to show that someone was a gift to you. At least, that's what they always taught us, even if the gifts cost you dearly.